All right, so I want to walk you through this little app that I've been working on. So it started by I was looking through these spreadsheets, which are really cool, and provide like comprehensive lists of ingredients and where they are, some randomized vending machines, some potion brewing, and thought this is really cool. But what if I had a place where I had all of this capability in one place where I could have all of my session data? So that's what I began working on. And really, I'm hoping that other people have some better ideas or some new ideas, some fresh ideas to really help me build this out and create like a really useful tool that you could sit at your at your game table on a laptop and have everything that you need to kind of help you manage your game and make things go really smoothly. So this is what I have so far. So I started with that. And this was originally all built around that potion brewing, and it works very similar. Like nothing fancy here, just simple. Choose three ingredients, brew the potion, and it tells you what potion you have. If there's two potions, then you pick which of the traits you want to prioritize, and it'll show you the potion for that. So now you got a potion that you can give to your players and describe to them what it does. So that's the potion brewing. The other thing I thought about was ingredient foraging. So a big part in brewing the portions and a big part of Obojima is to be able to find the ingredients to craft. So, uh, but some of those ingredients are found in certain areas. So using the rules in the book, I tried to design something that would allow me to ask my players for one of these two types of roles. They would do the roll, and I would check whether they're searching for a specific ingredient. I could put it here, or if they're just kind of randomly searching, maybe the gift, and they tell me their roll, and then it tells me if they found something and what they found. So I've just got a kind of a way to manage that. They can put that in their inventory, and now it's something that they can use to craft later. In this case, they didn't find anything, and then it kind of just keeps a log of that. There's this option. I don't love it. I'd rather just roll, and I don't yeah, I don't trust that as much as a real dice. But that's the ingredient finding. So now there's a way to find the ingredients to put into the potion. I can do this all in one app. Without having to really switch and look things up. And that's always the thing for me. Like I hate stopping the momentum of the game because I've got to go. I forgot something or I got to go and search something. Maybe you don't have that problem, but I have a really hard time keeping all this stuff in my head. So this is the vending machine. So originally I had all the details under the vending machine, but essentially this allows you to randomly populate a vending machine. I thought it would be cool to do it this way so that I could show the players, without revealing too much information. And then if I click, then I can see all the information that I need for the ingredient and even a suggested price that they could buy it from the vending machine. This is also controllable. I have a settings section where I can decide what actually goes in the vending machine and then how many items to randomly generate, of each type. And then if I have stuff that I absolutely don't want to ever show up in the vending machine, I can just click those things off right here. And then they won't show up. So like now if I go back, you'll see those magic items are here. And if I restock, those items that aren't supposed to be there won't. The encounter builder was a way during my session planning that I could think about the creatures or the group of creatures that the group might encounter, and I could group those together and save them. And I've implemented kind of a cool thing for them to be able to be used earlier. So you can click on this to see the details about the character. I can easily just add them to a list to develop my encounter. And I even put a little encounter difficulty here as kind of a guide to see, like, is this a feasible encounter for a party of this level? And then once I have my encounter, I can call it something. Um, yeah, maybe generally where it is, and save it. And so now I've got this encounter, and I'll show you a cool, and I could just load up that encounter here to review it or change it or delete the encounters like that. Also, this is searchable, so I could search for something specific that I wanted there. So put a pin in that. Like there's a cool thing that I've developed with the initiative tracker, and I'd love to have more ideas on how to better integrate it as well. So this is the initiative tracker. So this I can add my player characters. Same thing. I can add monsters, creatures to the initiative. Set whatever they rolled, and then start the combat. And then this is, this is one of the things I struggle with, as I have multiple monsters in my encounter as I'm doing my prep, not having right in front of me all the information about them, so I can make my rolls and plan out my attacks. So this is a way for me to have that right here on the screen when it's their turn. I can look at all the information that I need to be able to run that monster, and then we can go through. And as you go, it does the turns, and then it counts the rounds, so I can keep track of what round of combat we're in. If someone, I can adjust the health here. So let's say that this guy took 14 damage, 14. Enter. Hmm. Oh, I think I just put. I see what I did wrong there. 14, enter. That's 14 damage. I put a negative. It's just 14. And so now it shows me that he's dead, and it'll skip him in future turns. So it's just kind of a cool way, simple way. And that was my idea. I want to try to keep this from being too overcomplicated, and then I can end combat, and that's that. That's the combat. Player characters really just basic information that I can put in about my characters. My idea here was just so I can review my characters with the important things about them during play or in between sessions, some of the key information, but not everything. Session planner. This was so I based this loosely on the lazy dungeon master method. So the idea here is you create a session, name it something. Who are the player characters that are going to be there for this session? So now I have them there. I can also review them here in the session. Then I can kind of start thinking through, all right, what's my strong start? How do I want to kick this session off? What are some just secrets and clues that might show up during the session, that I could put here and then mark as revealed if they found it. So I can kind of have this open during the session. So it's used both for planning, but also to have open during the session. I can kind of hash out my scenes. I like to keep these loose so that I could insert one of these. I may have an idea of where this secret might show up, but it might not show up there. And then I can enter this secret. I've got it here at the high level into any scene or wherever the story might go. Same with NPCs, encounters, creatures, music, treasure. Just kind of a rough outline of kind of how I envision the session, and mostly just having all of my stuff prepped and ready so that I can bring it up and reference it quickly as we play. So this is creating a new scene. I can attach some of these things to the scene if I want to, but they'll stay session dependent, even if I kind of think they might go in this scene. The encounter part I think is kind of cool. This is so I can add one of those encounters that I saved to the session. I'm intending to maybe do this encounter, and when we get to that part, if I have this up in front of me when we're playing, and we get to that part and I click load, that's just going to load that initiative order right in. Now, before I start combat, I could actually roll for the initiative of each person involved, and then just click start combat, and we're ready to go. It's, within seconds, we've got the combat queued up in the initiative tracker, and we can start playing. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool. So that's the encounters music. I made it so that you could upload music here and then play that music right here. So as I'm going, if there's music, sound effects, anything like that, I can just cue them up right there. Add treasure, so I can select from some of the stuff that's already in the database, something that might be potentially discovered sometime during this session. So again, really basic, but that's kind of what I was going for at the onset. Just not cluttered, a super clean, simple way to kind of hash out my sessions and reference the information that I need during play. Quest log, this is really simple way to kind of keep track of different open quests or things that I might potentially give the party as quests and where they're at in that process. So I can easily just create a new quest, give it a title, a quest giver, some basic information, and then maybe add some objectives within the quest itself. It's going to make me, and then that's that, as simple as that. I've got a quest, it's available. Then as soon as I assign it to the party, then I'd probably move it over to in progress, and I could check back to see, I find having some kind of reference like this that's easy to find is really good. You can remind the party of those things, especially as quests start kind of building up. Hey, these are some things that maybe you intended to do, but you haven't done yet. Is kind of sparks, and I can use them as sparks for my session planning as well. So I do want to think about ways to integrate the quest log with the session planner a little bit better. So that's on my to-do list. The database is just the database of everything that's in here. This is nice for being able to maybe search for a specific thing in your research. You've got some filters up here, same with ingredients, where they might be found, things like that. So the different creatures, same thing, and all the magic items. I still want to put images in here for this. And that's pretty much it. That's what I have so far, but would love any ideas or feedback or, just cool things that would make this a really useful tool. And I'm going to make it available to everyone to use and play with if it's something that you find interesting. So cool. That's all I have. Thanks for taking the time to check this out. I'm pretty excited about it. It's been fun working on this and trying to think through what I want this to be. So anyways, I'm out. Thank you. See ya.